Welcome to Grow Your Strength. I'm going to take some time to start out with breathing practice. And so find yourself into a comfortable position, face up or face down. Thanks for joining week 2 of this program. And I'm excited to run through it today. Just take some time to adjust your posture. You're on the floor, face up. You can adjust your back, your shoulders, a little chin tuck. Extend the legs out if that feels okay. We'll just take a little time to run through some deep breathing. Nice slow inhale followed by a slow exhale. Try to lengthen your exhale and just let all the air come out. You can feel some expansion as you inhale deeply, and as you exhale, just letting things recoil. I always like to take the time to do a little breathing before strength training, mobility work, just integrating the mind, the neurology, and the biology. But with no further ado, we shall go onto hands and knees and start to work the flexion extension of the spine. Just take some time, spread your fingers, hands wide enough, knees wide enough that you've got lots of room to slowly move through each section of your back. As you round up, gently let your head be heavy. You can push into the floor. Get a little stretch or separation between your shoulder blades. I like to start again in my low back, dropping my front side down and rolling through, dropping the chest, drawing the shoulder blades together a little bit, not shrugging as I look up. Taking some time to establish the best flexion and extension. Very primal movements. And will have a good carryover effect for the rest of your training. After your next cycle, I'm going to take us onto our back and work on some knee work and some ankle work. I have been known to say this is my favorite part of the class. It's like, oh, okay, get comfy. The non-working leg can be bent or straight. Adjust the posture again. And here's your knee flexion, fully extending the knee. Sometimes you have to back this off. If you're tight in here, back it off, push the heel away. 3 to 5 of these moves, just depending on how it's feeling, how long it's taking you. Spread the toes. Knee flexion, knee extension without hyperextension or extending or locking the knee. Holding the legs straight and then working on just the ankle, spreading the toes and moving the foot, toes to the roof, pull the toes down. Finding the end range that you can access with your ankle on a regular basis here, just rolling the sole of the foot in and out, various angles. And bring it into a couple of slow circles in each direction. Last week I did a a tape of my own class. And I thought to myself, I'm going to put the tape on and run the class just like a student. So let's switch sides. So I get myself all set up, the tape there, and start doing the class. And it was weird because I realized I was wearing the exact same thing that I was in the tape. Although I tend to wear pretty similar clothes a lot. But anyway, that's another story. Anyway, it looked like a mirror, but then it wasn't a mirror. So it wasn't quite right. There was just something really strange about it, but not necessarily in a bad way. But then I was in the class. Okay, I'm not going to keep my leg still now and do the ankle. You know, when you write something or type something and you make a mistake, that's a typo. But when you talk, I just coined a new word, and you make a mistake, I'm going to call that a taco. So I heard myself make a few tacos in my class. Oh, well. It's funny you guys don't call me out on my tacos, but I do have them. And now I'm more self-aware. I'll probably try and have less tacos in my future. Okay, circles. It's always a good idea to take time for the ankles. We'll come to half kneeling. In the half kneeling position, you want to just level out your hips. Take some time to align your knee right over your ankle, and then start to pulse the knee forward, getting a little ankle mobility. I'll turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing here. Just upright in my posture, pulsing forward, trying not to lift my heel. If this is too easy, you can always pull the heel in, gives you a little bit more stretch through your knee. After a few straight, take it out on an angle, and same idea. Knee tracks over the midfoot, opening up some space. You can always try a few with your foot further out so you get a little bit more stretch. Or bring the heel in, work a little bit more on the ankle. Good. Before we switch sides, I'm going to take the interlacing fingers and then take us to some shoulder work, just watching the elbow as you bring it up and around, and then over to the other side. I'm keeping my hips fairly square to the wall in front of me. Just trying to move my shoulder blade gently and slowly move my neck. What about the opposite direction? Here we go. Feels good, right? Okay, let's switch sides and we'll set up for the stretches straight. Taking some time to sink into that. How are things feeling side to side? Some days more equal than others, depending on what you've been doing. There we go. I did some with my foot further out. That heel in. And then squaring the hips back to these. Switch direction. Can you tell that going in the opposite direction is not as fluid for me? How about you? Okay, back to hands and knees. All, all four reaches, so kind of find your neutral back, the middle of that flexion and extension, but tuck the back toes and then slowly take the opposite hand and leg off. Now you can go for different angles. You could go a little wider. You could extend out. A couple things you want to be paying attention to is that you're maintaining your back posture so you're not collapsing in through your back or your hips, and that you continue to breathe. So holding your breath would be a sign that you might have taken this to a place that you can't control those two things. Just go a few more times. I'll give us about another half a minute. Coming out nice and strong with my hand connection right through my shoulder. I'm still talking, so I'm still breathing. There we go. In and out through the nose if you can. You can go with that full extension, pushing through your heel, straightening your elbow. Finishing off your next rep, and we'll come back to half kneeling. Going to take us through shoulder motion with a ball today from one knee. I'm just taking some time to align my posture and then take the ball in one hand. And I'm going to slowly trace my shoulder mobility without leaning back, trying to look straight ahead. And if there's any pain or discomfort, you don't want to be working through that. So find a way to work around it or shorten your range of motion. As I come down to the side, I've rotated my palm, and now I can take my hand up into the small of my back. Watch that I haven't lost the posture, and then I'm going to slowly rewind. Nice deep breathing. Feel nice and connected, anchored in through the shoulder. And then we'll switch hands. This is an acronym for controlled articular rotations. If you're having a little bit of trouble balancing, you can just bring your foot out a smidge. You want to have a good base of support so you can focus on your shoulder. So controlled, very slow and controlled joint articular rotations. And if you don't go slow, you really can't trace the mobility that you currently own. And with some consistency and practice, this is how we improve our shoulder mobility. One of the ways. Nice breathing, being patient with myself, bringing my arm back around. Nice work. Now I'm going to put the ball down, change knees, and do this one more time without the ball, but both hands at the same time. Okay, so now you're on the other knee, holding the hip position, spread the fingers. Okay. Be patient with yourself. You get the arms up overhead. You can feel into the right side, to the left side. It's all good. At some point, you have to rotate the palms back. You can push your hands back. How does that feel? Being mindful not to lose my posture or change anything through my neck. Hands up the small of my back. And then breathe and rewind. Open up those fingers. Staying out of the neck. That is so good. Thank you for doing it so patiently. Frog circles is next. So come to hands and knees. I call this the frog position. Back is neutral. Sit your hips over to one side. Swivel through to the other side. And then forward into your hands. Taking a little load through your hands and shoulders. We'll go with 3 circles in each direction. Just taking a little time to feel out the stretch response through your inner thighs, your hips, wherever you might be holding some tension. That one usually delivers in the inner thighs. Okay. Okay, now taking one leg out to the side. Now it might not be like right to the side. It can be back on an angle to wherever you're comfortable. Take some time to then adjust your hands and your down knee so you feel like your back is set. Sole of the foot on the ground. I'm going to do 5 rocks where I sit my hips back and then gently weight shift forward. I'm trying not to go into a big rounded back here. Okay, so this is targeting my hip, the length, the stretch of my leg. 5 rocks, and then after 5 with your foot flat like that, change it to coming back, rotate your whole leg, toes up as you come back. That's external rotation from your hip, and forward, bring that heel up, internally rotate. So 5 like that, and then we'll switch sides. I'm just taking some time to feel out your end range. So I could go just a little further if I slow it down and almost pause at those end ranges. Okay, switching sides. Find that place you can get the foot flat. Adjust your hands and down knee. First rocks, the foot stays flat. Oh, look at that. We're getting some ankle mobility as a bonus. Good. And then the rocks, sitting back, rotate the toe up. Sit into that, come forward, toes to the floor, rotate the heel up. I'm going to shake out the wrists and come onto the back with a stretchy band. So we'll go through this the next 3 exercises 2 times. The first is a row from this position, one leg up. You have the option of keeping your non-working leg bent or straightening it out. If that feels okay on the back, you might need to just kind of teeter your curves and get everything set. Walk your hands up so there's enough tension that when you row, you can get the elbows to the floor. It actually feels like a little bit too much tension, so I'm going to back it off a bit. And I'm working the row 10 rows with my leg in the extended position. Some people might be back here because they can't get their leg up and with the bent knee. So back it off to where you need to. Take some time to feel out what's going on through the posture of your chin, back of the head, right? Shoulders. There's a lot going on here. And I'm also working to pull my shoulder blades together, connect to the floor. I can change the angle of my elbows for a little variety, muscle recruitment, slightly different, wide. Stay out of the neck so there's no shrugging. Feels pretty good. After 10, switch the top leg. Maybe you need to micro adjust the posture. Find that spot to work. Because I've really got this aligned, I'm feeling some work through my front core muscles too, which feels good. Okay, I'm going to take us to bridging now, and we'll start with 5 double bridges. Take some time to connect your feet, adjust the shoulders as you come up into hip extension. You want to tighten up your hip muscles, down release. Don't go so high that you're higher than this, feeling it in your back, okay? And this is not full hip extension, so you want to try and get this nice line between your knee, hip, and armpit. Just take your time to try and find that every time. Even if you need to adjust your posture just a little bit on the floor so you can come up and make this very hip driven. Now you can stick with doubles or move to 5 single leg bridges. These are a lot harder. If you're feeling crampy in through here, you can take a moment to sort of stretch out your leg again. And also, maybe you're new to this, you can do 1 at a time instead of 5. Go back to doubles. In time, you'll build the strength not to get that cramp. Okay, tighten up the hip muscle as you come up and down. Okay, and the third exercise is going to be back to hands and knees into a plank hold or a plank with a rocker, depending on what variation you would like to try. Anchoring the position of your hands and shoulders, stepping back, tightening up your hips. Now for some, that might be a short hold like that, where you come down and rest and shake out the wrists. Others might want to hold it 3 to 5+ breath cycles. And here's the rocks. I'm pushing away from my hands, getting some movement through my toes, stretch through my heels. Now I'm rocking forward, trying to maintain my plank position. So be mindful you're not losing the core position of your back or dropping your head. Any of those things. No, 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 no. Try to work on your best postures and connections when you're strength training. Okay, back to this row, one leg up. Did you feel it in your core muscles like me? Take some time to adjust your back, shoulders, check the tension. Do you need to back the leg off a little? Ten of these. Good. Switching. Changed my elbows quite a bit, and it just feels nice. For 10. Again, if you're new to this, lighter tension. That's one thing about these bands, is you can't really tell exactly how much tension, like from a pound or perspective, but intuitively we know. So back to 5 double bridges to start. Lining up my chin, my ribs come up, down, opening up my feet. I feel that connection with my toes. And you can keep going with the doubles or take it into the single leg again. I like to pause at the top of my bridges just to make sure I'm in full hip extension. I'm not rushing the reps. Great. Okay, so we're going to come up to standing after this. Well done. And we'll take a little time to grab water if you need to. The first exercise is called a halo and squat, and I will demonstrate that right now. So with the halo, I'm taking a weight that I can comfortably circle around my head. Find my position for my feet for a squat, and here's the halo. I bring it carefully around my head in one direction, and then I go the other way. So as I'm doing this, I don't want to lean. Then I do a nice slow squat. So if I was leaning here, I wouldn't be using my core to keep myself upright. So you don't want to lean back. You don't want to lean to the side. You want to control your sort of posture around you taking the weight. So we'll do 5 rounds of this. This is my second squat. So a halo each direction, and a squat would be 1. That looks good. Here we go. Nice deep breathing. Okay, and you finish that off, and just check what's coming up. Balance reaches. Okay, and so with balance reaches, you have some options. You can reach to a piece of furniture, but take some time to set up your foot. We did some ankle mobility, nice big open toes. You can breathe in as you reach. Try to extend that heel to the wall behind you and come back up. Sometimes it's nice just to reach to a piece of furniture so you've got some feedback as to whether you're rotating. So when you're in this hinge position, the shoulders and hips and arms square to the wall. Take a breath and come back up. About 3 per side. Back away from the fireplace now and try without anything to reach to. Balance is a practice, so don't get frustrated. Just consistency. Taking that breath in to create some intra-abdominal support as you hinge is going to help stabilize your pelvis, your core. Of course, balance is complex. There's more than one factor. The connection that you feel with your foot, stabilization, that looks good what you're doing. All right, and then the last is a push-up. Okay, so depending on where you're at with the push-up plank practice, you can take yourself back over to a wall. You could do push-ups off the wall, not into the neck, pulling yourself in, squeezing your shoulder blades together a little, pushing away. I always put a question mark when I write the programs for the rep range because everyone is different. The foundation of a push-up is your plank, so you could hold for a breath cycle. That would be a progression for push-up. Here's another one where you could lower yourself to the floor. I've shown in past videos the pillow under the front side so that you get a bit of a softer landing as you start to work your shoulder blades down to the floor. Nice work. Okay, so we'll go through this one more time. I'm going to go slightly heavier for my halo. Find my position. Remember, your feet for squats don't have to be the same all the time. It just has to feel okay when you squat down on your body. Looking straight ahead. You're a pillar of strength. Nice deep breathing. Squat. Looks great. There's 2. Aiming for 5. Feeling my coffee kicked in there. Now for the balance reaches, if you want to go back to body weight, you can. Another option would be to hold the weight. This is a 10-pound dumbbell. I'm not reaching out with the dumbbell. I'm kind of hinging and the weight goes down towards the floor. We'll stick with the 3 per side. You could stay on one side or alternate. Remember the cue I gave about breathing in as you hinge, exhale as you come up to posture. That connection of your foot is important, so you can roll your foot out, spread your toes, weight shift into that foot, and then when you're ready, away you go. In training, coaching, I repeat a lot of cues because sometimes it's just that cue that changes movement for you. I might say, try to get your heel to the wall behind you. And for you, that's like, oh yeah, that gets me like right into that hinge. And other people, it doesn't really speak to as much. So I just keep repeating them and hope that you can make the best of it. Push-ups are the last. So after your balance reaches, we go to push-ups. Again, at the wall, find the tension, pull yourself in, use the shoulder blades. Okay, progressions from the floor could be a mini push-up, right? Maybe you're not confident to go further down and come up yet. So try a mini and a lower. Then bend the knees, come back up, right? The goal, a full push-up. And once you have one, would never let that go. So keep building, building, building. Sometimes it takes years, but it does happen. Attention to the practice. Everybody looks good. Okay, I'm going to start us off in the next set. Press and reverse lunge, stepping back opposite to the weighted hand. So here's a weight that I know I can press overhead. It's in my right. I'm going to step back, do a reverse lunge, come back up. Press, reverse lunge. We'll take this up to 6 per side. Looks good. If for some reason you couldn't press, you could hold it for a breath cycle here. Nice deep breath in and out, and then reverse lunge. Okay, if you're not limited with any shoulder injury, then go ahead and do the full press. Using the muscles on top of your shoulder, trying not to shrug up, and then work everything down, connect, and then into your reverse lunge. Okay, switching sides. Up, pull down, reverse lunge. Next up, open band pulls on different angles. So I'm going to take that stretchy band. This is a different kind of stretchy band that I have that has loops. I like it because I can do some work with open hands, and I just check the tension. Yeah, that feels quite right. So I'm going to connect with my feet, get nice and tall in my posture. And as I open, I'm trying to work the shoulder complex together, pinching my shoulder blades, breathing deep. Okay, some things that you want to look for. Make sure that you're not extending your knees or back, right? So float your posture over your feet. And as you open, just find that moment where you're working and you feel good and connected. 10 should be about enough. Okay, next up, I'm going to show some options for skaters. Now, some people might need to go and find something depending on your flooring. You don't need anything, okay? I'll show you some options. So one option is you just step back, no slider. It's on a 45 degree. So here I go, step back, come back up. It's 10 per side, okay? Now, if you have carpet or hardwood floors, you could use a face cloth on hardwood floors. This is a bit of a furniture slider. It looks like a furniture slider. It's actually meant for this kind of work and fitness, but I've seen people use like a saucer, a little china saucer. It doesn't really matter what you use today, but this is week 2 of 6. So you could find yourself something that you can slide with. The nice thing about sliding is that you can push a little energy into the floor and then pull back up. Now, as I go out, you want to be mindful that the base leg doesn't wander, right? So you're only going back on that 45 to an angle that you can control. Okay, switching sides. Again, it could just be a tap if you don't have anything to slide with today. And slide, back up, slide, back up. Okay, the last exercise in this set is going to be a deadlift. So for those of you that are just finishing this off, I thought somebody had finished there, but I got a little ahead of myself. Okay, now the deadlift motion is your hip hinge. It could start with body weight. You could use dumbbells and inhale as your hips go back, exhale, open. I've been demonstrating more and more heavier deadlifts in class, and this is something that I'm pretty passionate about, and what a good segue into this. But this study got sent this by Dr. David Olson, a chiropractor that I know and work with mutual clients, students. heavy strength training in older adults, implications for health, disease, and physical performance. And it really reinforces the fact that people have some benefit from lifting heavier and heavier over time. You can't just lift heavy, you have to learn how to lift. So you learn how to lift, taking the dumbbells, keeping the back neutral. You can go ahead and start to practice some of these. But you know, wherever you are in your strength training practice, whether it's body weight, 2 10-pound dumbbells, or 2 16-kilogram kettlebells, the practice is the same, right? The way that the attention that you bring to it, the safety, the breath, it's the standing tall, making it a hip dominant move. This is really important as we age. So it was really nice to read this study because, of course, I believe in lifting heavier and heavier safely is the way to go. And I will probably share more of that in future weeks. Okay, so let's get back to the press and reverse lunge. Gotta feel good. You press it, reverse lunge with the leg opposite to the weighted side. Opening up, pulling down, strengthening the shoulder. Up to 6 per side. This weight is definitely in my wheelhouse. I've got the ability to take it open and press and fully extend and pull. Feels good. If the weight was heavier and you wanted to just go here and closer to your ear, that might be a better place for you to gain some strength and some confidence to start with. But the shoulder doesn't just work in one angle, and you could probably say that about everything in the body. So we don't want to continually train it in that one angle. We want to get some variations. Good. Nice work. Into the band pulls. Whoops. Okay. Palms up. If you have something you have to grip, just try not an over grip. Okay, that's not enough. Find your posture through your feet and knees, right? And then about 10 angles. Nice deep breathing. That was 9. Kind of knew that it was enough. Okay, skaters. On the angle or the taps. 10 per side. So I'm taking some time to connect my base foot. You can use the arms. It can be a slide or a tap, right? If you want to add breath, you can breathe in as you slide back. Exhale as you come up to posture. Really using this hip as well as pressing into the floor, coming up, getting strong. Up to 10 per side. One of my classes, I've got 15 of these per side. So if you're doing this as a tape, you feel like doing a few more, you can up the reps. Beautiful. I like what I'm seeing there. Okay, and then into the hip hinge. Okay, so what choice? Here's your body weight. If lifting off the floor feels a little daunting, you could elevate on some magazines, a box. For your home training practice, you might need to invest in some kettlebells or dumbbells so that you have something you can work up to. We lift a lot of things like groceries in our daily life that are heavier than you might think. You want to be training above that in your gym setting, your home gym setting, so that you have the capacity to do other things without injuring yourself. Okay, last set, lateral balance. Okay, this is interesting. So you're going to take a step to the side and then slowly come up to a kickstand balance. Step to the side. If you don't need the help to slide the foot and come up into the kickstand, then step back and try to come up with no slide of the foot. Or power off and try to stop a little quicker. Okay, so options, about 5 per side. You're trying not to do this, right? You want to have this lateral hip stability. So here, boom, boom. Very nice. Other side. Ooh. Mix it up. Too easy? Hold it here and blink or close your eyes. Ooh, that changes things. Okay, we're going to do a 1, 2, 3 freeze with a little bit of extra load. So you can grab some dumbbells. These are 10 pounds each, and I'm taking myself into 1, 2, 3, and I'm just trying to freeze for a moment and balance. So I'm creating opportunities for hip stability. I'm loading my bones a little with a jump. If the added weight caused discomfort, didn't feel right, put the weight down. We'll go for another 25 seconds. Just take some time. Good, 15 seconds to go. Coming into your last rep. And I'm going to put one of these weights down and work on some walking with the weight transfer. So feet are regular width, so I'm not walking a tightrope, and I'm taking the weight from one side to the other, making sure my space is safe. I can take some steps back, trying to roll through my feet. Now, often when I show these carries, I'm working up to more weight, but doing it with a lighter weight at first, you can see how stable I am. I'm not leaning into that weight. I do the transfer. My core is working hard not to side bend. So then if I was to try this with something heavier, maybe I wouldn't hold it for quite as long, but I could take a few steps forward, transfer, a few steps back, looking straight ahead, and trying to mimic that nice shoulder plane, staying nice and tall as I do that. So that's a heavier one-sided carry. Again, not being shy of the weight, but working up to it safely in time. So maybe the takeaway from today could be having a little inventory of, take an inventory of what you have in your home and see if you can get a few more things. You can always makeshift weights with a recycle grocery bag and some extra books and tools and things so you can carry and cross over or even fill a small suitcase. I've seen a client do that as well. Thank you so much for building a stronger version of yourself with me today. Have a wonderful day. Take care.